What's up, Epic Film fans? I am LoySauce, and welcome to another Epic Film Guys video. Witching season is finally upon us, the most wonderful time of the year, so I thought that I would share with you all my top 10 favorite Halloween books, movies, and music. These are things that just put me in the spookiest of moods, so let's begin, shall we? Number 10, Halloween is Here. This album by Lonesome Wyatt and the Holy Spooks harkens back to the novelty Halloween records of the 40s, 50s, and 60s, compiling 6 original songs along with interludes in which Lonesome Wyatt himself tells you tragic and amusing tales about lonely werewolves, hungry mummies, and ghost thieves. The songs and the stories are a perfect blend of ghoulish imagery and mischievous humor, and almost more than anything, it effectively captures the nostalgic feeling of going trick-or-treating in the crisp autumn air with the full moon peeking behind the dark clouds. If you're looking for pure, unadulterated Halloween fun, look no further than this indispensable album. Number 9, Bites of Terror, 10 Frightfully Delicious Tales by Cuddles and Rage. Cuddles and Rage are Liz and Jimmy Reed, an exceptionally talented husband and wife pair who create these tactile dioramas to tell stories about anthropomorphic food that bridge the gap between adorable and disturbing. This is a wickedly clever collection of stories inspired by the old horror comics like Tales from the Crypt or Vault of Horror. But even if you're not a horror maniac, there is tons to love here. You can see the handcrafted love that went into each individual panel. Not to give too much away, but my personal favorite bit involves a strawberry dismembering a group of zombie strawberries with a jam spreader. Number 8, Haunted Ween, the shot-on-video masterpiece from 1991 that has become a favorite of mine and audiences of Alamo Drafthouse's Video Vortex series and Dismember the Alamo Annual Horror Festival. The story involves a college fraternity turning an abandoned house where a murder took place years earlier into a haunt to raise money. Now the killer's returned and starts offing the frat members one by one, but the customers think it's all part of the show. This is a gem of a film that delivers big laughs, creative kills, and an ending that has to be seen to be believed. Sadly, the film's writer-director Doug Robertson passed away earlier this year. You can see his signature on this DVD that has very unfortunate cover art. And the website where one could previously purchase Haunted Ween on DVD has been taken down. Please, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin Films, whoever's listening, we need an official release of Haunted Ween on Blu-ray. Let a whole new generation experience this amazing film for many Haunted Weens to come. Number 7, Dead Man's Bones. Dead Man's Bones is a music project by Zach Shields and none other than Ryan Gosling. If you weren't big on Gosling's singing voice in La La Land, perhaps you'll find him better suited for these macabre and catchy love songs with titles like My Body's a Zombie for You and Werewolf Heart. The songs range from folk to gospel to doo-wop, and each incorporate sound effects like screams, howls, creaks, and heartbeats, as well as haunting vocal contributions from the Silver Lake Conservatory of Music Children's Choir. It's not a polished record, but that's actually by design, and it's an attribute as opposed to a detriment. I have Dead Man's Bones on constant rotation throughout the year, but it's absolutely tailor-made for the Halloween season. Number 6, the Vintage Obscura Halloween Mixes. Since 2013, the Vintage Obscura subreddit has been finding and sharing exactly what it sounds like, vintage obscure music. Each year, they compile a mixtape of some of the strangest and most priceless Halloween songs they can scrounge together, ranging from surf to psychedelic to funk to electronic, and they share it with the world. These mixes are expertly curated and perfect to put on at a Halloween party, and they get better every single year. Number 5, The Halloween Tree. This 1972 novel by Ray Bradbury has become a perennial favorite of mine. There's some god-tier prose in this book. Let me just read you this brief passage. The wind outside nestled in each tree, prowled the sidewalks in invisible threads like unseen cats. Tom Skelton shivered. Anyone could see that the wind was a special wind this night, and the darkness took on a special feel because it was All Hallows' Eve. Everything seemed cut from soft black velvet or gold or orange velvet. Smoke panted up out of 1,000 chimneys like the plumes of funeral parades. From kitchen windows drifted 2 pumpkin smells, gourds being cut, pies being baked. Tell me that doesn't paint a picture in your mind and make you feel like you're there. Brilliant stuff. It's not only a great atmospheric Halloween story, but it's also a lesson on the origins of the holiday, from Samhain to Dia de los Muertos, that's entertaining for a young audience to read, as well as an accessible avenue for discussing death with children. But you don't have to be a child to love this book. You just have to love Halloween. Number 4, Over the Garden Wall. This is an animated miniseries created by Patrick McHale that premiered on Cartoon Network in 2014. It follows a pair of brothers, Wirt and Greg, played by Elijah Wood and Colin Dean respectively, who find themselves lost in a mysterious forest and encounter a bizarre cast of characters and creatures on their way home. It consists of 10 11-minute long episodes, with the tone skirting from lightly humorous to borderline harrowing. The painterly visual style is absolutely stunning, and the sensational music will never leave your head. Oh, potatoes and molasses has never left mine. As I'm recording this, it's available on Hulu, so go watch. Number 3, The Monster Squad. In 1987, writer-director Fred Dekker teamed up with Shane Black to create one of the most awesome concepts in movie history. A group of young horror fans team up against the classic monsters: Count Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, and the creature from the Black Lagoon. I mean, yeah, that sounds awesome, but then there's also the fact that the movie is actually awesome. After the film flopped and faded into obscurity, a powerful and vocal fan base led the film to have a resurgence years later. Now it's the cult classic it deserves to be, and it inspired a feature-length documentary called Wolfman's Got Nards. I got a chance to catch the film last year, and without hyperbole, it's the best documentary about fandom I've ever seen. Check out The Monster Squad and check out Wolfman's Got Nards. It comes out October 27th. Number 2. Everyone and their dog has talked about these already, but it wouldn't be a list of Halloween books if I didn't mention Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. These 3 books were my gateway into loving horror, and what a way to be introduced, because these things were hardcore. Imagine being 8 years old, just innocently reading a book, and then you turn the page and you see this. Many a pant was soiled between these pages, I'll tell you what. Everyone talks about the famous stories like Harold and the Red Spot, but the ones that scared the absolute Jesus out of me were the drum and sounds, especially sounds. Jesus H. Christ. I think what makes these books so effective is that Alvin Schwartz's writing is so simple. No frills, no flowery prose at all, just sheer terror, which perfectly complements Stephen Gammell's nightmarish illustrations. Beware of reprints with someone else's illustrations. You want the original, true blue Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark treasury. Their impact cannot be overstated. And my number 1 favorite piece of Halloween media is the WNUF Halloween Special. I'm not going to gush for too long about this because I want the experience to be pure for people who haven't watched it, but this is essentially a long-lost broadcast from 1987 in which a news crew set out to tour a supposedly haunted house for their local station's Halloween special. And what they find is much more than they bargained for. Spliced in between are some of the most radical vintage commercials you'll ever see, and rarely have I seen such a pure celebration of the spirit and the season of Halloween. It's one of the best discoveries of the last decade. I'm so glad it exists, and if you have the streaming service Shudder, which you should, at the time of this recording, it's available to watch right now. And that's it, folks. I'm going to have myself some pumpkin beer and candy corn, but before I do, I'd love to hear from you. So what are some of your favorite books, movies, and music for the Halloween season? Let me know in the comments below. Keep your eyes peeled for more Epic Film Guys content coming your way. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed, and we invite you to hit us up on social media as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, we will see you at the movies.